So for purposes of our discussion, I'm going to use the definition that's shown there, because I personally like it. So Tony Nadalin asked an interesting question yesterday, and that was, why are we doing use cases? Why are they relevant to the work of the IDESG? And so I thought about that a little bit and came up with what you see on the screen there. I think it is the basis for the development of much of our other work products within the IDESG. It provides the context for those work products. It's also a method of eliciting requirements. As you go through those use cases, that's where you identify requirements. It helps us to define the problem that we're trying to solve, and to quote Dave Temeshuk from yesterday, it helps us to determine commonalities so as to be able to design services. And the bottom line is that it will be a guide to our collective efforts and to keep us aligned so that the various silos and groups and committees that make up the IDESG aren't going off in different directions, but we're all have an agreed set of use cases that we're working with. Okay, so there's questions about levels of use cases. At the high-level use case, you're really talking more about what and why, as opposed to the low-level use cases, which get into more of the hows. And so our target is what I would call the scenario level, which is the what and why level. We had previously called that functional use cases or business use cases, and people didn't like either one of those terms. So I'm sure somebody will dislike this term as well, but that's what I'm using at the moment. So once we define these high-level use cases, it's possible then to define progressively lower-level use cases as needed. And those lower levels may be specific to particular focus areas. So for example, privacy, security, user experience. And what has been done so far? We've developed a use case template, drafted just an initial list of potential use cases. We've began to identify sources of existing use cases. We've generated a couple sample use cases, and we've begun the collection effort. You heard yesterday from the Finance Committee about some use cases that they've done, and so I just really commend them for that.